discuss the basic concept, you know for a fact that primary hemostasis and secondary hemostasis are part of the coagulation system. So after the primary hemostasis, if it is not yet enough, no, yung primary hemostasis because there is a large injury or blood vessel injury, maa-activate natin ang secondary. And the secondary are made up of different plasma proteins, namely zymogens. Zymogens are activated to form yung tinatawag nating mga serine protease, which are mga procoagulants. Coagulants. Ibig sabihin ng procoagulants, promoting the coagulation system. And then they have cofactors. So ito po ay nagbabind to serine protease to enhance and stabilize the effect. So, ibig sabihin, para mas mapabilis, para mas stabilize yung effect ng mga procoagulant natin, they are usually bound to cofactors. They have specific cofactors, by the way. Halimbawa, si factor 7 ay kay tissue factor. Si factor 10 ay para kay factor 5. Okay, and so on and so forth, which later we will discuss. And then, number 3 are the control proteins, or we also call them regulatory proteins. Ito naman yung mga anticoagulants natin. So, meaning to say, sila naman yung nag-i-inhibit ng coagulation. And finally, yung fourth category natin, fibrinogen, which is the major substrate. Kung naaalala ninyo, ang goal natin is to generate what? Ano yung kailangan nating ma-generate sa secondary hemostasis? Our goal is to generate thrombin, right? What is the purpose of the thrombin? The thrombin will activate the major substrate fibrinogen to fibrin, which in return, etong fibrin na to, by the action of factor 13, i-stabilize ni factor 13, will now be the component of what we would like to form, which is the red clot. Di po ba? Yan ang gusto nating mangyari. Maka-form tayo ng red clot sa secondary hemostasis. Naintindihan po ba? Okay, now, enable for us to do that, the coagulation system is divided into 3 pathways. So we have the intrinsic, extrinsic, and the common pathway. So the intrinsic and the extrinsic, so by the way, this is the red part. This is the blue part. Green pala to. Green. And then this is the blue part of the diagram. So para maintindihan ninyo kung ano yung part ng intrinsic, extrinsic, at common. So, please do take note that this is a cascade pathway. Pag sinabi nating cascade pathway, kailangan munang may ma-activate na isa prior to the activation of the other protein. So, halimbawa, kailangan ma-activate muna natin si 7 to 7A. Para pag may 7A ka na, maa-activate si factor 10 to 10A. Pag na-activate na si factor 10A, maa-activate niya si factor 2 to 2A. By the way, kapag inactive sa nomenclature, eto po, they are presented by Roman numeral number. But once they are activated, halimbawa, si 1, once na na-activate, magiging 1A. Si 2, once na na-activate, magiging 2A. And so on and so forth. Now, other than the Roman numeral assignment, meron din po silang assigned names. Katulad ng factor 1, that is fibrinogen. Factor 2, Prothrombin if it is inactive. Thrombin kapag ka-active na siya. Clear yon? Yung iba, whether active or inactive, yun yung pangalan nila. Katulad ng tissue factor, katulad ng factor 8. So once active, inactive, anti-hemophilic factor pa rin siya. Factor 9, kahit active, inactive, Christmas factor pa rin ang tawag natin. But for factor 2, iba ang term ng inactive at active form niya. Inactive is prothrombin, active is thrombin. Clear po ba? Etong nomenclature na to, this is based on the International Committee for the Standardization of Nomenclature of Blood Clotting Factor. Ulitin ko lang, we are using Roman numeral numbers, and once they are active or activated, lalagyan po natin ng lowercase a after the Roman numeral number. Clear ba yon? Now, ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na 4 na category natin. Yung zymogen, yung cofactor, yung control protein, at saka yung substrate. Ngayon, saan ba galing tong 4 na to? They are usually synthesized in the liver, but some of them are released. Katulad sa endothelial cell, naalala to, di ba? Yung endothelial cell na diniscuss natin nung nakaraang linggo, meron siyang pinoproduce na anticoagulant at procoagulant. Not only endothelial cell, but also monocytes and megakaryocyte. Naalala niyo yung sa megakaryocyte ultrastructure, platelet ultrastructure. Remember, you've learned in the platelet production, megakaryocyte is the precursor of platelet. So, pag may platelet ka na, 'di ba, may mga storage sites yon, like the alpha granule, remember? The dense granule. So, doon din natin nakikita or nakukuha yung ibang coagulation factor na kailangan natin sa coagulation system. Clear ba yon? So, nako-correlate nyo na lahat nung diniscuss natin nung nakaraan. Okay, now, let us first talk about the serine proteases. So, ulitin ko lang, meron tayong 7 na serine protease. So, we have 7. So, we have the factor 2, we have the factor 7, factor 9, 10, 11, and then 12. And then the pre-kalekrin. Clear? So, ito yung mga inactive na zymogen. Kapag activated, ang tawag sa kanila, serine protease. Clear po ba yon? Bakit sila tinawag na proteolytic enzyme? Because they are capable of cleaving proteins. So halimbawa, si factor 7 magiging 7A. Kapag may 7A ka na, i-cleave niya naman si factor 10 para maging 10A. Nakuha po ba? So that what is meant pag sinabi nating proteolytic enzyme. They are capable of cleaving another protein. Okay? So pag na-cleave na nila, na-activate naman yung na-cleave nila na protein. Clear ba yon? Okay, so meron po tayong, ito yung listahan ng mga inactive zymogen natin, nakatabulate 2, 4, 6, 7. So we have the prothrombin magiging thrombin. Si factor 7 magiging 7A. Si factor 10 magiging 10A, and so on and so forth. And makikita niyo dito kung sino-sino yung may mga cofactors at kung ano yung substrate nila. Naintindihan? Now, ma'am, i-memorize po ba namin tong table? Ma-memorize nyo to kapag familiar kayo sa diagram na to. Okay? So, it will be easier for you to memorize the table if you know the cascade of events that are occurring in your extrinsic, intrinsic, and common pathway. Clear po ba yon? Okay, isa-isahin po natin sila, no? Okay, now, let us go to what we call as, kasi may mga serine protease tayo na tinatawag na vitamin K dependent or yung tinatawag natin na prothrombin group. Or po yan ha, or vitamin K dependent or the prothrombin group. So meron po tayong 7 members ng vitamin K or prothrombin also, and control proteins. Okay? Di ba meron tayo 4 na category? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yung mga zymogen na inactive na nagiging serine protease. We also have cofactors, right? We also have the control proteins or regulatory proteins. And finally, we have different substrates. So, ang pinaka at major substrate natin ay si fibrinogen. So, eto ay mga serine proteases at mga control protein na vitamin K dependent. Anong ibig sabihin? From the word itself, very ano ba tawag dito? Dependent sila sa presence ng vitamin K, enable for them to produce functional structure. Okay? Kailangan nila ng functional structure. At once na naging functional ang structure nila, okay, once na naging functional ang structure ng mga vitamin K dependent serine proteases and control protein, they will have a negative charge. Once na meron silang negative charge, they are now capable of binding to calcium. And once na meron na silang calcium, they are now able to bind to phospholipid. Example of phospholipid, makikita natin sa platelet membrane. Clear po ba yon? So take note of this ha. Pag functional ang structure nila, nagiging negative ang charge nila. Once na negative na yung charge, magbabind sa calcium. And once na may calcium, magbabind sa phospholipid. Later, I will explain ano ang importance niyan. But for now, tandaan, kaya po sila tinawag na prothrombin group kasi magkakamukha po sila. Ibig sabihin, parehas meron silang resemblance sa prothrombin factor. They have this 10 to 12 glutamic acid unit near their amino acid terminal end. Clear? Okay. Now, ano ba yung vitamin K? Ang vitamin K po is a vitamin that is commonly found sa mga green leafy vegetables. And in our intestines, pinoproduce po yan. Kino-convert niyan ang activated vitamin K ng Bacteroides fragilis and E. coli, yung mga intestinal normal flora natin. So they produce activated vitamin K, no? So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Nagkakaroon sila ng negative charge because of the vitamin K. Ito po, they will have the negative charge. After gaining the negative charge, they will bind to calcium. After binding to calcium, then will bind to phospholipid. Okay. So, ano naman ang importance ng vitamin K na magbabind na magiging negative charge, na magbabind kay calcium, na magbabind kay phospholipid? Okay? Important po yan para maka-form tayo nung tinatawag nating tenase complex. Ano naman ang tenase complex? Okay, tenase complex is made up of vitamin K dependent serine protease plus cofactor plus calcium plus phospholipid. Okay? Yan ang component ng ating tenase complex. Wherein, makikita natin yan sa extrinsic, intrinsic, and common pathway. Okay? So, eto yung vitamin K dependent serine protease. Ito naman yung cofactor. And this is the calcium. And this is the phospholipid, yung kulay yellow. Okay po? So ulitin ko lang, 'di ba? Pag vitamin K, yung kaninang sunod-sunod na nangyari, pag may vitamin K, anong nangyayari sa serine protease? Nagiging negative charge siya. Pag nag-negative charge siya, magbabind sa calcium. Pag meron ng calcium, magbabind siya sa phospholipid. 'Di ba? At ano ang substrate ng tenase na to? Factor 9 and factor 10. Nasaan po yun? This is the factor 10. Diba? And this is the factor 9. Kuha po yun. So kapag meron kang extrinsic tenase, this can activate factor 10 and factor 9A. Kuha. Punta tayo sa intrinsic tenase. So we have the serine protease, which is a vitamin K dependent. Ito naman ang cofactor. Same goes with the extrinsic. May calcium. Once may calcium, magbabind sa phospholipid. In return, will activate factor 10. Kaya kung napansin nyo, may arrow papunta kay factor 10. Nakuha. And then, sa intrinsic naman, this is the vitamin K dependent serine protease. This is the cofactor. Then, will bind to calcium. Once na may calcium, may phospholipid. Anong target? Yung prothrombin naman. Kino-convert niya si prothrombin to thrombin or factor 2 to factor 2A. Clear? So that's the importance of the vitamin K for them. Kailangan maging negative charge. Kailangan functional. Otherwise, hindi po tayo magkakaroon ng red clot. So, buo yan. Hindi po yan mangyayari. So, wala po tayong magagawang red clot. Clear po ba yon? May tanong po ba tayo sa mga vitamin K-dependent coagulation group? Question, clarification. Okay. So, ano yung mga possible na incident or possible scenario na magkukulang tayo sa vitamin K? So, number 1, we will be having deficiency in vitamin K dependent group if kulang sa diet. 'Di ba? Hindi ka kumakain ng green leafy vegetable. So magkukulang ka sa vitamin K. Also, pag nag-administer ng antibiotic, ano yung mapapatay ng antibiotic sa intestinal tract natin? Si Bacteroides fragilis at saka si E. coli. Di ba important to sa production ng vitamin K? And another oral anticoagulant therapy we know as Coumarin. Coumarin, that is the generic name of the warfarin. Warfarin is the brand name. Okay po? Okay. Next. So, ito naman yung iba't ibang cofactors. So, tissue factor, ang kanyang SP ay si 7A. Si factor 5A, ang SP niya si 10A. And so on and so forth. Okay po? So, uulitin ko lang. Once na memorize po ninyo etong pathway na to, it will be easier for you to remember kung ano at kung kanino sila nagbabind. Okay? So, hindi nyo kailangang i-memorize yung table once na memorize ninyo yung pathway. Clear yon? Okay, isa-isahin natin. Puntahan muna natin si thrombomodulin, wala to dito. Pero, madidiscuss natin to in our next topic, which is fibrinolysis. Okay po? Madidiscuss natin to doon. Anyway, thrombomodulin, saan siya involved? Actually, kung mapapansin ninyo, si factor 7A at saka si factor 5A. San ba to galing? Wala naman sila dito sa system. 'Di ba? Hindi naman po sila included dyan sa system. Paano po sila na-activate? This is actually activated by 2A. Kilala si 2A? Si thrombin. Okay? So, meron po tayong mga activated thrombin, no? Small amount lang sa plasma natin bago pa ma-activate ang coagulation system. Okay? So, anong purpose nung small amount ng thrombin na yan? Ito yon. It can activate your factor 7A and factor 5A. But, in return, this is also deactivated by factor 2A or thrombin. Paano? Paano siya nade-deactivate? Nakaka-activate pala eh. Paano din siya nakaka-deactivate? Your thrombin will bind with a cofactor known as thrombomodulin. They will form a complex. In return, will activate protein C. Si protein C will then inactivate factor 8A to factor 8 and factor 5A to factor 5. Kuha ba yon? So, ibig sabihin guys, dalawa po ang purpose ng thrombin sa factor 5 at saka factor 8. Parehas po niyang ina-activate at ini-inactivate ang factor 5 at factor 8A. Paano ini-inactivate or paano din na-deactivate? Si protein C. Ini-activate ni thrombin at nung cofactor na thrombomodulin. Kaya, associated pa rin siya sa deactivation. Nakuha ba yon? Clear po ba to? Si thrombomodulin? Okay. Next, punta tayo kay tissue factor. Okay. Saan naman natin makikita si tissue factor? Dito po siya. Sa ating extrinsic pathway. Actually, kung naalala ninyo yung discussion natin last week, ano nga yung activator ng primary hemostasis? Yes, Miss tama. Yes, Larenas.
Try lang po kung tama yung
Go ahead.
collagen.
Collagen. Very good. Okay, it's collagen. Di ba yung exposed collagen pagka meron kang blood vessel injury? What about for the secondary hemostasis? Ano naman yung activator natin? Nasa table yan, di ba? Sinabi ko yan sa table. Ano po yung activator ng secondary? Tutuklawin na kayo. What's the activator of the secondary hemostasis? Diba tissue factor? Right? Okay. Bakit? Saan ba natin makikita ang tissue factor? Sa blood vessel din. Alala nyo si fibroblast? Diba nakita natin to sa adventitia. T siya. Etong smooth muscle, di ba? Sa layer ng media. So, expose collagen and expose tissue factor will activate the hemostasis. Tissue factor will activate factor 7 to factor 7A. Once na meron ka ng 7A, gagamitin niya rin si tissue factor as a cofactor together with the complex of calcium and phospholipid forming the tenase, the extrinsic tenase to activate factor 10 and factor 9A. Kuha po ba yun? So mataas din ang level ng tissue factor sa brain cells, sa lungs, sa placenta, sa heart, sa kidney, at saka sa testis. Okay? So that's the purpose of the tissue factor. Next, proceed tayo kay factor 5. So ulitin ko lang ulit si factor 5. Co-factor pa rin to, di ba? Together with factor 8, sino nga uling nag-activate sa kanila? Sino nag-activate? Sige, ayaw niyong magsalita.
Thrombin po.
Okay. Thrombin. Kala ko magtatawag pa ako eh. Okay. So, take a look at this one. Okay, kay factor 10 siya ha. Kay factor 10. Now, once activated, will bind to factor 10. Imagine, 300,000 times na nai-increase po niya or na-accelerate niya ang thrombin generation. Kasi the 10A, 'di ba? This is just a cofactor. Tapos 'di ba ito yung vitamin K dependent na serine protease. Kaya naman ni factor 10 on its own. Kaso lang para mas mapabilis ang conversion natin ng factor 2 to factor 2A, nagbabind siya sa 5A. Okay po? Okay, so I've already mentioned this a while ago. Deactivated by thrombin. Paano nga ulit nangyari yon? Si thrombin magbabind kay thrombomodulin. Once na meron na pong complex, will produce the protein C. And the protein C will inactivate your 5 and 5A. Clear? I mean, 5A and 8A. Yan. Inulit ko lang yung illustration kanina. Okay? And then, punta tayo kay factor 8. By the way, si factor 5 pala, hindi lang siya makikita as plasma protein, also released by the alpha granule. Do you still recall the alpha granule? So, yan. Si factor 5, makikita natin doon. And then, factor 8, sa plasma protein lang siya, ha? Co-factor yan ng factor 9. Dito po, sa tenase naman ng intrinsic. And then, yung high molecular weight kininogen, co-factor naman siya ng factor 12A in the conversion of the pre-kallikrein to kallikrein. Dito pa rin sa intrinsic pathway. Okay po? Okay. Next. Punta naman tayo kay factor 8. Okay, elaborate natin si factor 8 ha. Okay. Si factor 8 is produced by the liver, endothelial cells sa lungs, and in other tissue. Now, you have to remember, very unstable to kapag mag-isa lang siya sa plasma. Kailangan nakakabit si factor 8 kay von Willebrand factor para maging stable. So, ibig sabihin, in the plasma, the von Willebrand factor nakabind sa inactivated factor 8. Kuha ba yun? Inactivated, factor 8. Then, ulitin lang natin, papaano po ba siya na-activate? This will be activated by thrombin. We've mentioned that earlier because the thrombin will now cleave. Tatanggalin niya po yan, no? Okay? Sa thrombin. Sa von Willebrand factor. The thrombin will cleave factor 8 in the von Willebrand factor and will convert it to factor 8A. Nakuha po ba yon? So, katulad lang din siya no, ng factor 5. Pero yun nga lang, si factor 5, ano po yun? Free siya sa plasma. Okay? Kasi si factor 5, kahit na free siya sa plasma, it will remain stable. But unlike factor 5, factor 8 should be bound to von Willebrand factor in the plasma to remain stable. Pag kailangan na siya, tatanggalin na siya doon ni thrombin, i-activate para maging factor 8A. Kuha ba yun? At saan natin ginagamit ang factor 8A? As we've mentioned earlier, part yan ng intrinsic tenase. Diba? That will bind with calcium, that will bind to phospholipid, and then will create the intrinsic tenase. Will activate factor 10 to factor 10A. Clear po ba yun? Okay. So, I've already mentioned about this one, yung phospholipid. Ito po yan. Together with factor 9A. So, forms intrinsic complex with factor 9A and calcium that will bind to the phospholipid of the platelet, forming now yung tinatawag na intrinsic tenase. Okay? And this intrinsic tenase will activate factor 10 to factor 10A. So, inactivated by protein C. Saan nga ulit nanggaling ang protein C? This is activated by thrombin and thrombomodulin. Paulit-ulit tayo ha. Pagka hindi pa nyo ito na-memorize, di ko na sure. Next. The factor 8 is found in in the X chromosome, similar kay factor 9. Ang characteristic ng factor 8, guys, di ba unstable siya sa plasma? Right? Unless bound to von Willebrand factor. So, pag mag-isa na lang yan sa plasma, it will deteriorate rapidly. Ito po yung pinakaunang nako-consume or pinakaunang nagdi-deteriorate na factor. Among others. Okay po ba? Ito yung unang nagde-deteriorate na plasma coagulation factor among the others. Clear po ba yon? Okay. Now, let's talk about the von Willebrand factor since nabanggit na natin siya kanina, no? Actually, your von Willebrand factor, it's a large multimeric glycoprotein na maraming function. If you still remember, sa primary hemostasis, very important siya sa platelet adhesion. Naalala niyo yung GP1B95? Diba? Kung halimbawang ito yung platelet, tapos yung collagen, diba? Andito yung von Willebrand. Clear? Naalala nyo ba yan? Sorry. Ulitin natin yung ano. Drawing na lang natin. So, ito yung platelet. Okay? Andito yung collagen. Right? Ano nangyari? Ito yung GP1B95 receptor. Andito si von Willebrand factor. Para siyang bridge. Di po ba? Between the collagen and the GP1B95 ng platelet. Remember that? So, involved po siya sa platelet adhesion. And then remember, nasabi natin kanina, in plasma, your von Willebrand factor and your factor 8 are bound. Di po ba? Sa plasma. Kasi pag ang 8 mag-isa lang, it's very unstable. So, nakita ninyo dun sa previous topic natin that your von Willebrand factor are produced by endothelial cell. Naalala niyo yan sa mga procoagulant? At makikita rin po natin ang von Willebrand factor sa alpha granule ng megakaryocyte. Naalala niyo yon? I mean, alpha granule ng platelet. 'Di ba? Okay, specifically sa endothelial cell sa Weibel-Palade bodies. Okay? Sa platelet, sa alpha granule. Okay? Tapos, sa endothelial cell, sa Weibel-Palade bodies. Now, these are degraded into smaller multimers by the ADAM TS13. Okay? Do you still recall that? Anyway, na-mention naman siguro to sa inyo. Mame-mention yan. Kung hindi pa man na-mention ngayon, mame-mention yan sa inyo sa primary hemostasis. Okay? And this is considered as an acute phase reactant. Ibig sabihin, kapag may infection, okay, pag may inflammation, kapag may trauma, may infection, ano nangyayari? They are increased. Tama po ba ang ibig sabihin ng acute phase reactant? Tapos naman na siguro kayo sa IMS, immunoserology. So you know what are acute phase reactants, right? They are increased in case of inflammation, trauma, or infection. Okay, now, let's take a look at the receptor sites. So, yung GP1B95, yun yung ginagamit na site, okay, ng von Willebrand factor para kay collagen. Diba? For collagen. Tapos, yung GP2B3A, yan naman yung ginagamit for platelet aggregation. Right? And then, yung third is for the collagen binding sites. And yung fourth naman is para sa factor 8. Remember, if factor 8 is free in plasma, it is unstable. Kaya kailangan natin na nakakabit ang factor 8 kay von Willebrand para mag-remain na stable. Clear po tayo sa binding site. So, meron po tayong 4. For GP1B, 9. For GP2B3A sa platelet. For collagen, diretso sa collagen. Or pwedeng katabi or kakabit ang factor 8. Okay po? So, ayun. Hanggang dito po muna tayo for today. Then we will continue our discussion of the contact factors next week sa intrinsic pathway. Malinaw po ba yon? Now, kailangan po memorize ninyo ito. Okay? Etong pathway na to para pag inisa-isa na natin sinong cofactor, vitamin K ba to, prothrombin group ba to, fibrinogen group ba to, ano yung purpose, ano yung substrate, hindi po kayo malilito. Kasi lahat naman halos yan nakabase dito sa cascade na to. Clear po ba yon? Okay? Maki-memorize na po. And please do take note, wala kayong quiz this week. Pero matatapos na this week yung primary, Then on Monday, matatapos natin ang secondary. That's why next week, may quiz kayo both for the primary and the secondary kasama yung basic concept. Kaya starting this week, dapat nagre-review na kayo para hindi po kayo bombarded pagdating sa susunod na linggo. Clear po ba yon? Okay, sige po. Yun lang po for today. Any question, clarification? Okay. So, sino po dito yung hindi po natawag sa attendance kanina or may correction sa attendance? If so, please remain. And for the others that don't have any questions na po, pwede na pong mag-leave. I'll see you again on Monday. Bye. Have a nice day, everyone. Yes, Mr. De Maisip.
Ma'am, pwede po magpa-add po sa Brightspace po. Late enrollee po kasi.
Brightspace? Iho na sa Brightspace ka na.
Meron na po. Sa Himat po.
Yes. Tawag kita kanina, di ba?
Okay po. Thank you po.
Alright. Yes.
Ma'am, yung nabanggit niyo po kanina ng Adam TS13 sa TTP po ba yun?
Saan?
Sa thrombocytic thrombocytopenic purpura.
Oo. Sa mga diseases, Nabanggit na ba sa inyo to ni Dean sa primary?
Sa Hima 1 po.
Hima 1?
Apo, midterm po.
Okay. Sige.
Bagsak ako, ma'am, pero natandaan ko.
Ay, nako. Pasa mo na to ngayon,
Doesn't define me. Eme.
Pasa mo na, magkasabay
na yan,
naman
ma'am.
din yan.
Carry na yan.
Magkasabay, Magkasabay yan.
Opo, mamumuhunan na sa prelim.
Tama. O, sige
sobrang
na.
hirap. Bye po,
Hindi
thank you.
kaya, madali lang. Mag-aaral ka lang.
Tamad lang talaga ako last sem.
That's right. Kaya mo naman eh.
Apo, ma'am. See you later po.
Sige,
sa
see
klase.
you later. Bye.